There's something inside propelling me to get out of the comfort zone. I have an entrepreneurial vein, but yet I take very measured approaches to risk.
Did it come from like crisis or pain?
Most of my decisions are driven by this desire to leave a positive mark on everyone and everything I touch.
How are you dealing with the amount of uncertainty at the moment?
There's part of me that says you shouldn't get comfy with it.
Cesar Estrada from Arcesium. Nice to speak to you again.
Likewise.
Because we spoke downstairs.
Very nice talking to you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to learn about the person behind the numbers, behind the role. So I'm going to go straight in with an existential question, as you kind of put it before we got on camera. So if we remove your job title, your awards, who are you at your core?
Yes. Well, the truth of it is I don't know. But isn't that what we're here for, right? It's a journey of self-discovery and self-knowledge. I do know that I want to leave a positive mark, and that most of my decisions are driven on the back by this desire to leave a positive mark on everyone and everything I touch. My family, my friends, my colleagues, my clients. And I guess I do know that I want to enjoy that journey, because the more time goes by, the more I'm confronted with little reminders of how fragile life is and how quick it goes by.
That answer was almost spiritual. I absolutely love it. Question around the idea of legacy. Like, when did that, I guess, that way of thinking start to, take the center stage in your mind?
It's been an evolution. From a young age, I had a lot of curiosity about what are we here for? And over time, it has evolved. I guess the leaving a positive mark aspect of it really kicked in after becoming a parent. And it gets more and more accentuated as time goes by.
Yeah. How many kids do you have, if you don't mind me asking?
I have 2 girls.
Okay.
They're 22 and 20 now.
Right. And has that mindset compounded every single time you've had a child? Has it got more potent?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The idea of legacy.
Yes. I want to leave a positive mark with them. I want it to be a good role model for them, and that extrapolates, and I want to be that for everyone and everything I touch.
Yeah. Have you, this might sound like a random question, right? Is there anything that you've learned from the world of work that you apply to fatherhood and vice versa?
When it comes to my leadership style, parenting has informed a lot the evolution of my leadership style. In that, despite the fact that both grown from in the same household, from the same parents, my daughters are very, very different, personality-wise, and in terms of how they need support from their parents. And I have ported that into my leadership style, particularly over the last 3.5 years after switching from 25 years in banking and financial services now into tech, and being asked, my mandate being to grow a business line from not from scratch, but from idea to a meaningful part of our company. My leadership style has to be one that is very it treats each direct report, each individual very differently, given what they need at each point in time. I.e., I had to be a player coach for some during the first few years, because I was coming with certain set of experiences and expertise that the company didn't have for its individuals, and I had to show. And be a player, be a coach. 3.5 years into it, and for certain individuals, I need to play a very different role. I need to give them enough elbow room to do their thing, to make their mistakes, to learn from them. So I need to treat each one differently. So I need to adapt my leadership style that way, and I try to do it very deliberately.
Tell me about a time when something happened that nearly broke you or broke your plans, and I guess how you managed it and how you worked through it.
Um, I've never been someone that jumps too much, professionally speaking, from organization to organization. But having said that, within those organizations, I tend to want to be stretching myself and moving or expanding my responsibilities in different ways that put me in uncomfortable positions right at the time that I'm getting comfortable and progressing in my current capacity. And those have always been tough choices. Moving from Mexico to New York when I was doing very well in Mexico. Moving from New York to Hong Kong on the back of a crisis in Southeast Asia to go and figure out how to help fix things for different companies, and then getting comfy with it and saying, okay, I'm going to go to London to now help companies raise capital in the London Stock Exchange. Every time there were a very tough choice of, I'm just getting good at this.
Right.
And I'm doing well.
And then,
But there's part of me that says, you shouldn't get comfy with it. What's the next thing? Even if it's within, in my case, it has been mostly within, I've just been with a few organizations. It has been within those organizations, but it has been that internal force, and it's always been very tough to make those choices, but there's something inside propelling me to try to go and get out of the comfort zone.
so I guess, have you developed that discernment knowing when you need to, I guess, level up or grow? Or is that something that someone's taught you to be aware of? Like, did that come from somewhere? Because some people are driven, like you said, they're constantly driven. When they plateau or they feel comfortable, they realize they want to grow.
Yes.
But not everyone has that. Some people have been taught to check in with themselves. So, like, how did you gain that discernment?
Um, I think I can't take credit for having done that very deliberately. It's just something inside of me, that an internal compass, if you will. Um, perhaps if I think about what I grew up seeing in my parents, it might point to why I have that compass. I had the entrepreneurial dad who had ups and downs throughout his career. Some things worked out for him, some other things didn't. And then I had the career woman in my mom, who did a 44-year career at the same company, and progressed from being a executive assistant to being the CFO of a publicly traded company. And I think that informed a lot my risk reward appetite and my internal compass as to I have an entrepreneurial vein, uh, and but yet I take very measured approaches to risk. But there is this thing pushing me to try out new things every so often.
Yeah. So you say that there's a balance between you being a risk taker and you just being a little bit more considered with your
Yes.
decisions. Going back to what you were saying about your parents, I think that's fascinating. Like your mum climbed the career ladder and your dad had ups and downs as an entrepreneur. My initial question was, what did you take from both of them, right? But actually, I realized I'm going to flip it. What about both of them individually did you learn, like, not to do? Like, you looked at your dad and you're like, I'm not going to make that mistake. And looked at your mum, regardless of how successful
Yes.
they are, and thought, I'm not going to do that.
As much as there is an entrepreneurial vein, I have never had the guts to go off on my own and do a startup. The ideas from time to time bubble up to a level where the question comes up, should I take this for a spin and see what happens? But it is that equilibrium that you were referring to that led me to Arcesium, right? After 25 years in financial services across the globe, attending to the needs of private market clients, I realized I had what seemed like a very informed views as to how technology could do more for them. And having solved for some of the practical, mundane issues of taking care of a mortgage and kids' education, I had more appetite to take a bigger risk and switch after 25 years from careers. Yes, still porting all of my knowledge of the market I play in, private markets that is, but moving from financial services to technology. And that's how I've found a piece of being able to exercise a little bit more of that entrepreneurial muscle than before, while feeling comfortable with the level of risk I'm taking.
So how are you feeling, right? We're in slap bang in the middle of such uncertain times digitally, right, with AI.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about it as someone that seems quite considered and almost less of a risk taker and more of a considered thinker? How are you dealing with the amount of uncertainty at the moment? Is there anything practical that you're doing for yourself or your company, or what's your experience of it like at the moment?
Yeah. I've having gone through a few cycles now, the boom of the internet, and I was an M&A banker at the time doing internet deals, and then that blew up. Having gone to Southeast Asia where tons of companies had gone bankrupt because they were indebted in dollars and had a local currency income, and that devaluated. I've gone through a few of these cycles, and what I have seen in the segment of the marketplace that I operate, private capital markets, they're amongst the most creative bunch. They always find opportunity in the middle of crisis, and they're very nimble and quick to grab it. And I'm just following behind to help them capitalize on it.
Right.
With financial services in the past and with technology these days.
That speaks so beautifully to your leadership style as well, right? Which isn't necessarily leading by the front, but integrating and letting people lead if they need to. Okay, I've got another question. It's a bit more of a personal one, right? So what's a value that you promote, that you advocate for publicly at work, even privately at home, that you personally still wrestle with or that you might be in contention with?
Being present at each and every moment. I do talk about that with my family, with my colleagues, and I do give it a very genuine effort at being present at each and every moment, because I do believe it is key to everything, to having a joy in life and to be enabled in professionally to help our clients solve their problems, to help better manage our teams. And yet it is very quickly elusive, finding yourself in the moment, right? Even as you and I speak, um, I can very quickly lapse into thinking about the next thing I'm gonna say as you are framing your question instead of attentively listening to your question. So the work never ends in terms of being present. You just have to be each and every moment.
Yeah, I almost, I'm so with you on the idea of presence. I almost feel it's something that we can keep working towards, but no one would ever, even, I don't think most people want to be a monk. I think most people want to feel the presence and peace of the experience of being a monk, right? But at the same time, have that drive and have that richness of life, of attainment and whatnot. So it's definitely ongoing work. I mean, I didn't take your question, your response personally about me looking at my questions, but I was like, yeah, it does happen, right? But this is how real life works, right? Whether you're in business or whether it's a conversation is responsive. Someone gives data, information, and we respond. So I think there is a part of being present and future thinking. A question building on the question around presence, right? A lot of the time when I've spoken to people, interviewed people, and they talk about where I am in my life's journey now, I'm focusing more on things that matter, family, presence, etc. Usually it's come from the opposite. Usually it's come from over-indexing or someone complaining to them, their family or their staff. So if you don't mind me like prodding a little bit,
go for it.
Did you have any complaints from the family or your partner or people at work saying, you're just really not present, you're up in the clouds, you're future thinking, we need you to come back? Did it come from like crisis or pain?
Look, there's always the complaint in a moment here and there, but generally speaking, I think this has partly been the product of just working consistently to quiet my mind through different means, whether it is meditation and the study or different weird, extreme hobbies I have that force me to be present while I'm performing them. I have built much more ability to do so. So I'm much more conscious of when I'm not, and I try to bring myself back to the present moment.
I know I'm not the only one thinking, what are these weird hobbies? How comfortable do you feel sharing your weird hobby?
Sure.
Go for it.
During the pandemic, my family and I moved from New York to what had been till then a summer home, and I had seen my girls. I would be in the terrace playing with dolls with my girls and watching in the distance in the bay a kite surfer there, and I would just think to myself, I'll do that one day. But it's not something you can easily pick up.
Right.
So despite here and there taking a lesson on a beach holiday or this or that, it doesn't stick unless you go at it. At least it didn't for me. It was my first board sport. But the pandemic afforded the ability to be there by the water and trying and falling on my face time after time. And I picked up kiteboarding. And I practice mixed martial arts, and I got hooked into that. And it's I have had complaints from my family with respect to that hobby, particularly when I come back bruised.
Okay, right.
And it's been challenging at times because I'm kind of the old guy at the dojo. So I end up having to fight 20, 30, 40-year-olds and
taking out your frustration on Gen Z. I mean, so many people in your position would love to do. I've got a few very quick questions before we go. We've got a quick game. It's called This or That.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you a very quick question, and I'm going to give you two options, and you have to respond as quickly as possible without overthinking it. Right? So, risk or reward?
Reward.
Cash flow or compound growth?
Compound growth.
Bull market or bear resilience?
Bull.
Early bird or late closer?
Early bird.
Instinct or data?
Oof. Instinct.
I thought you would say that for some reason. Diversify or double down?
Double down.
London or Dubai?
London.
Good answer. Soft skills or sharp suits?
Soft skills.
Okay, I'm going to leave it there.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Likewise. Pleasure.